get my 6. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Homesteading Off the Grid, the most popular homesteading channel on the entire internet that has absolutely nothing to do with homesteading. Whew, man, it's September and it hit 97 degrees today. It's 91 right here right now. That's crazy hot. I'm about ready to write a letter to my congressman. So anyway, it's evening and just sitting up here watching deer, and I figured I'd tell some stories. I'm so excited for October and for the Halloween season, and it's always a good time for some creepy stories. So today, with old man reading glasses at hand, I'm going to read to you a few stories from True Hauntings Volume 1. Personal stories of real experiences with the paranormal, supernatural, cryptids, aliens, and UFOs. Available, of course, on Amazon and print or Kindle. Available from our Etsy store, signed print copies. For now, we're going to be, well, I don't want to put the cart in front of the horse. We might travel some this winter, and if so, we're going to be shutting the store down again. But again, just stick around the channel and you hear a lot of these stories for free. Oh, wow. I can see myself in the camera now. So I'm going to get right to it. I'm going to start off with, a lot of you folks are here for the Bigfoot Sasquatch stories. Got one for you here from Australia, submitted by Michael Russell from Australia. It's called The Sasquatch Story from Down Under. This is something really neat about Bigfoot Sasquatch. Every major civilization around the world has a Bigfoot Sasquatch type creature in their folklore. It's the Yowie, I believe, in Australia, the Yeren in China, the Yeti in Nepal, the Capri in the Philippines, to say it properly. I've caught hell about this from people in the Philippines for mispronouncing it. It's Capri. Hey, man, I can't roll my tongue. Of course, we had our experiences there with the Capri. Of course, I wrote the book Isle of Capri, the definitive book, the only book on the Capri. It introduces the West to that legend. But here's something neat. These stories, these legends, predate recorded world travel. So what that means is these stories were not passed on from one culture to the other. These stories existed before the cultures intermingled. So what's that tell you? Just something to think about, okay? Now, with no further ado, as my beautiful bride Dearly, aka Giggly Girl, would say, let's get to the story. A Sasquatch story from down under. Kevin, firstly, I've watched your channel for around 3 years now. Thoroughly enjoyed every minute of it thus far. Secondly, I have a story as told to me by my younger brother. Third and final, thank you for inspiring me to be a better version of myself and ignore the naysayers. Like you, I am a veteran, Army, Infantry, 88 to 98. Hoo-wah, brother. Thank you for your service. I was in Iraq with some Army guys from Australia. Thank you for your service. Thank you. Thank me too. You may use my name. I have nothing to hide, and I also wish to help inform those interested in the scope of this phenomena. In Australia, we refer to these creatures by different names, depending on size and physical attributes. My brother was accompanying a kangaroo shooter for the night's harvest. They had been working for around 7 hours, and they agreed to a sandwich break at the next dam, and this was around 1 a.m. They started coming towards the designated dam when the driver of the vehicle alerted my brother he had seen something move as he scanned the nightscape with a spotlight. My brother moved the beam of light back towards the area the driver thought he had seen movement in. The driver told my brother to stop. Hold the light there. See that tree in the middle of the beam? Asked the driver. Yes, said my brother. That is where I saw it, said the driver. My brother kept fixed on the tree with the spotlight as they drove towards the area, bouncing as they did over stick-racked country. My brother said he saw a creature or thing also holding onto the tree, as you would a book in two hands. The creature was peeking around the tree at them as they drove towards it. As they got within 100 meters, a cloud of dust started to appear from beyond and around the tree. They continued to drive right up to the tree, stopping about 10 meters away, with full beam and all lights on. In the back of the kangaroo shooting truck were two huge Great Dane ex-wolfhound hunting dogs. These were the driver's best and most reliable dogs. They lay cowering on the floor of the tray-back setup, whimpering in fear. My brother and the driver got out of the truck carefully to inspect the area and locate any sign. My brother at the time was in his early 30s and had spent the last 17 years honing his hunting and survival skills and knowledge. The driver was in his late 50s and had harvested kangaroos since he was taught by his father at a young age. They found scuff marks around the base of the tree. They could not get a definitive measurement, but were impressed with how finely the creature had turned the dried dirt to dust, like it was shuffling its feet in agitation and turning the dirt to powdered dust. They estimated the area in which it was grasping the tree was approximately 7 feet in diameter. The tree, being an iron bark, was estimated to be 15 inches wide. The hands, when grasping the tree, were estimated to have a gap separating the fingertips by only 2 to 3 inches. That was what was thought of as to why the driver noticed the creature at first. Its hands around a tree were visibly out of character and did not seem natural to his seasoned eyes. They assumed the dust was created as it took off, running away from them directly towards where the driver's lights were shining. My brother estimated it to be at least 8 feet tall, dark brown, blackish matted hair, black eyes, but a lighter face. Thank you for your time, Michael Russell. Well, thank you, Michael Russell, for your story. And folks, just an FYI, if you have any stories associated with the paranormal, cryptid, supernatural, UFOs, aliens, anything just weird, and you want them to be considered for a future, we're working on volume 4 right now. Just got so much going on in life. It's just, you know, and then running the Sick Twisted Humor Facebook page, being viral on multiple social media platforms now. It's taken a lot of time away from my writing, but I really hope to finish that thing up soon, as in like before Halloween. So you can submit your story if you have one to the channel. The email address is crazylake@mail.com. You've got to make sure to give me permission to use your story, okay? So here's one. A Tale of Civil War Ghosts. This was submitted by the Dan on our YouTube channel. So this actually came from the comment section. A Tale of Civil War Ghosts. Kevin, this happened back when I was 8 years old. For some backstory, we had just recently moved into our new house in Spotsylvania, Virginia, just around 5 minutes out from the Chancellorsville battlefield. We drove through there just last week, the Dan, on our way back from DC. We'd gone up to DC for the day, drove right through there. It was a new development, and we were maybe the 5th or 6th house to be built on the street of eventually 20 houses. My bedroom window faced up the street toward the main road. As I was lying in bed trying to fall asleep, I ended up glancing out the window. Something caught my eye that made my spine tingle and the hair on the back of my neck stand up. I shot up out of bed and ran over to the window. 20 yards up the street, in the dim light cast by the street lamps, there were 2 men on horseback riding toward me. Directly in front of them were 2 more men, one with one arm around the other's shoulder, using him as a crutch. As they drew closer, I noticed the man's leg was gone below the knee. They were all dressed in tattered rags with gray caps on their heads. I turned and ran into the hallway to wake my parents up and show them what was going on. Within 10 seconds, I was back at the window with my parents in tow, and the men were gone. They told me I was just having a nightmare and needed to go back to sleep. 2 weeks later, while exploring the woods behind my newly found friend's house, we found an old trench that had been dug from behind our house and that led far off into the woods. The trench looked as if it had been dug over 100 years before and had not been disturbed since. After doing some research some years later, I found a set of old maps online that showed a Confederate encampment in the exact location where our street was. The end. Wow. See, we got time for one more. Yeah, it's a short one. It's called More Civil War Ghosts. Kevin. My grandparents owned a farm in Northern Virginia. Their land abutted the Skyline Drive, and there was the most beautiful waterfall that fed from park property and pooled a couple of times in a nearby clearing. Beside this waterfall and on the opposite side was a cliff that was probably 40 feet high. The base of it was at this clearing. My grandparents always used this area to butcher hogs, as it provided access to clean, rushing water and enough area to set up their pots for scalding water and tables. There was a path about 15 feet wide that led from the house to this area. My cousin, who was about 15 years older than me, said that when she was a little girl, that my grandparents had a picnic. She and some of the other cousins were playing on this side of the house, and they all witnessed Confederate soldiers walking almost in a formation out of that clearing and toward the house. They all ran to get their parents to see the soldiers, but as they got there, the soldiers were, of course, gone. She said some of the parents didn't believe them, chalking it up to imagination, but she looked at me with the sincerest face and said, "I know what I saw." The end. So that story was submitted anonymously. So there's just a few short ones for you. Didn't take up too much of your time this evening. Trying to get warmed up here for the long haul of October. We're less than a month away. We're going to be out here on all those October nights telling all kinds of creepy, cool stories. So if it's as hot where you are as it is where I am, make sure you're drinking plenty of fluids and staying out of the direct sunlight. So thanks for being here for just a few more short stories here at Homesteading Off the Grid, the most awesome, most popular homesteading channel on the internet that has absolutely nothing to do with homesteading. Thank all of you for supporting our Sick Twisted Humor Facebook page, you and 693,000 others. And my wife's page, Life with Dearly, or her channel, Life with Dearly. Then she has a Homesteading Off the Grid Facebook page. So we'll see you for more next time.